All right, time for part two. So Chris Park again with Arking Games. We're going to actually paint this bad boy in Substance Painter. So right now we've got a cool cel-shaded look on this guy with way too much bloom, sorry. And we're going to paint it to look more used and worn and more metallic and more glassy. 'Cause this doesn't really look like glass yet. It from a cell shaded standpoint, like if I saw this in a Miyazaki film or whatever, I would understand. Hey, that's glass, or Wind Waker or something. Yeah, that's glass. From the kind of gritty, realistic standpoint that we're ultimately moving towards in AI War 2, doesn't look like glass. So we're going to deal with that. Alrighty. All the prep work was done in the previous video. So at this point, I now have a, well, these are the original files from Blue, but I don't need that anymore. Now I've got the new LOD0 file that I created last time, and then actually we do have the same textures here as before. So I'll just bring those back over. Could have left them alone. All right, and so Substance Painter, hello. Ever have so many icons on your bar that you suddenly can't find something? I have more instances of Unity up than usual, so it bumped some Substance Painter down to the next line and threw me off. It's not normally on the part of the screen I'm used to seeing. Yeah, once again, I'm part of their subscription program, so it's a recurring monthly thing, and they like to remind me of that, like I'm on some sort of, trial or something that is, I'm on probation or something. 15 days remaining. Like, yeah, I know. And then pays again and gives it back. Autodesk doesn't do that. All right, file, new. Unity 5 logarithmic template, yes. Select, go under Arks, the Rorqual Hegira, and then I want to add in the various textures that Blue created. Hit OK. This thing will import here. Now, before I do anything else, first deal is bake textures, bake all texture sets. As you're already familiar with, if you watched the previous video, we've got 2 texture sets. One is body, one is tanks. And so all of these various things that's baking right now, the thickness, the curvature, world space normals, that sort of thing, those all play into the procedural materials and masks and so on that I'll be working with later. And that's actually pretty cool stuff. None of that will actually go to Unity. It's all just for painting purposes in here. And it's going to make an absolute giant file by the time I'm done with this, half a gig or something. Wonder what size Blue sent me these textures in. Something big. Let's crack it open in Photoshop to see. Looks like it's, wow, not Unity. Oh my gosh. I'm failing on hotkeys and everything. 4096. Okay, so she sent me very detailed ones, which is no surprise and is helpful. So keep going to Unity. Get out of the way, Unity. All right. I'm not working at that scale though for this. I don't think it's warranted. 2048 ought to be good, and that's gonna use up less VRAM and RAM for players. So we've got all our baked textures and whatnot in there. I'm gonna go ahead and Arks. Arc, I can't spell that. All right, so there's my Substance Painter project saved. Yeah, that thing starts out at 31 megs. It's only going to go up from there. So step number one is we're going to create some paint layers on each one, and we're just going to drag in the existing base that blue has. So these should be the body ones here. Oh, and I'm also going to add an emissive channel to this. And so let's see, body right now. So normal. Yep. And hey, have an emissive channel here. And here is the color channel. Now I'm going to get rid of the height and roughness and metalness channels because those don't exist in the thing that blue painted. Now over to tanks, and I'll go ahead and hit save. On this one, also need an emissive channel. Do a paint layer, delete the existing, do a fill layer, not a paint layer. Delete the fill layer that was there. Height, roughness, metal, I'll go ahead and take off. Okay, here's the emissive, normal, normal, and color. All right. Now, you see the resemblance is pretty strong to what it was in Unity, largely because we're not doing anything real fancy yet. This thing has jumped up to 346 megs already. It'll be back down to under 20 for the actual game. But it's just kind of funny. The working data gets enormous. All right. Let's see. What do I want to do here? So with the body, got these cool lines that have like electricity type things in them. And I want to treat those differently than everything else. And the rest of it is pretty much just panels with some, dark overlay lines on normal maps. So less excited about that part. So what I'm going to do is let's crack open the body texture in Photoshop here. And then let's see if we can isolate these bits. Yeah, okay, cool, fine. We'll just select the inverse, make that a layer instead of the background, and hit delete. See what we got left. Sure. Nope, not quite. We lost the blue. Oh, okay. So what? We'll just select it like this and go the other direction. Really? You're selecting blue as part of your tolerance? That's better. All right, this is more what I had in mind. There's little extra messy bits around, but I don't really care about those. We're going to grunge this up anyway. So body blue bits. And then I'm going to make a black background. And then I'm going to change this to white. And we will call this Blue Bits Mask. All right, back to Substance Painter. I have Blue Bits Mask, drag those in, set those to texture, being part of the project, save. I'm gonna do another fill layer, and I'm going to put in this as the color, and since it's got alpha in there, it stops overlaying everything. Don't want height, normals, metalness, or roughness, or emission, for that matter, from that. Now I'm going to do what I should have done in the example one I had yesterday, make a folder, and we will call this our Blue Bits folder. And actually, I'm going to make another folder here. Metal bits. I'm going to move that lower, put our fill layer inside that, our first fill layer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bitmap mask, and it is blue bits. This mask that I created, it's going to be backwards. So I'm going to hit invert mask. I'm on the tanks. I didn't even look at what I was doing. Blah. That's annoying. That's really annoying. Okay. Tanks, get out of here. Grr. All right. I can copy this to the body, I think. There we go. Blue bits, middle bits. Somebody was watching along and seeing that. It's like, when's he going to notice? Oh, he's not. Don't worry. Invert mask. Okay, so cool. So our metal bits are masked out like that, as you can see. Our blue bits are masked out here. So now these are two separate things, and the resolution is such that it works out fine. Oh, is this set to UV scale 1? Yes, it is. Okay. And remember there being a seam quite that noticeably there before, but we're working at 2048 by 2048 instead of 4096. So that's probably why we've got some aliasing going on there. If I was to switch this up to 4096, one thing would be darn slow and it'd be hard to work, but for another, it would be a little bit cleaner. But we're not here to make this clean. We're here to munge this up. It's already clean. So now let's think about the metal bits first, and I'm going to ignore the blue bits. What do I want to accomplish with this? So, let's just start off with a smart material. That's often a good place to start. Let's do this steel. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Is it kind of a marbly look, which fits with some of the rest of what's going on. I'm gonna say, let's see what it looks like if we put surface worn on that, and it just gets limited to certain areas. Oh, that's awfully awfully non-existent. You know, we've got little bits there, but that's let's see about if we make it just more edge-based. I don't know, I'm not feeling that. Based on the UV maps, things will work a little differently. Okay. Nope. That could be interesting. Now that's interesting. I like how that's kind of scraped around. It's giving it a nice worn look. Now, obviously, we're going to put a different metal underneath this, but for what I have in my head, this seems like a good starting point. Bear in mind, this is all non-destructive, by which I mean any sort of change can just be undone or taken off at any point. So if I let her go, oh no, I don't actually like that, just take it away. So I feel like this shouldn't be too sleek because this is for whales and other underwater animals, and so I feel like if this is like, you know, a really super shiny thing, then it's something that doesn't feel like it came from underwater. So let's see here. Let's actually bring in some stone. Now you're going to question this. Bear with me. I'm going to bring in some stone. All right, and that looks like what? Hey, this isn't supposed to be a rock. You can hear the backer already. Hey, what are you doing? It looked cool before. Now it's stone? What the? Okay. So cool. Get rid of the color. The normalness and height is good. Okay. Now come into our smart mask. Let's try this. That's what I thought. Mind you of anything? Whale skin? Kind of looking a little leathery. Now, I'm not going to keep it like that, but we're making some inroads. Those cracks become kind of gruesome if this is whale skin, which of course it's not going to be. But all right, let me think. I've got some. Let's try this silver. Previews take forever to bring up. I'm going to put that above boulder stone material there. Yeah, this is the way too bright silver. Take off the normal map on that. Nope, still way too bright. Nope. Maybe a tungsten. That was what I was originally scrolling for, and then I saw the silver, and it's like, ooh, maybe silver. Tungsten. I know I have tungsten in here somewhere. No? What? Could have sworn I had that. Let's try Let's try this. This kind of ribbing could give an interesting element to this. Now, I mean, this looks horrible right now. Don't freak out. Okay, so first of all, UV scale needs to be way different. And I'm not even sure that I like this at all. And if I do, it definitely doesn't need to be on the entire thing. Yeah, I don't know about this. When it's more plate space like this, that's kind of cool. But again, not something I want everywhere. So let's try doing cavity rust on this one. I thought because that was darker that might actually work for cavity rust, but no. Oop, got a double mask on that thing. Wait. Great. Oh man, I royally messed up my. Okay. I think it was surface worn I had on this. No. Paint old. To go back and check the video. Stained surface. Soft damage. Yeah, soft damage. That's what it was. All right. Save. I was feeling really attached to this. I'd save multiple copies. But I'm not so heartily in love with this that I can't bear the thought of losing this. Okay, so that metal didn't pan out, and I hit undo too many times and messed things up. Let's do something more extreme. Let's take. What is this other thing? Steel medieval. Why do I have steel medieval? Oh, right. Oy, I'm doing well today. Okay. So what do we get when we change these UV scales around a bit? Kind of like it when it's really huge. This is interesting. Actually, medium is kind of interesting too. Let's try. It's a little bit too everywhere. Let's go with cavity rest, and then I'll adjust the parameters on that. Okay. Now we're going to click into here, and let's see what we can do. So for one thing, balance. We'll turn that up. Contrast, we'll turn up to. Balance on the rust part. Contrast. Okay. Not sure what some of those bits do. Oh, hold on. Okay, yeah. Look at that, little vents down here. Okay, yeah. We're getting these appearing along these edges, which is nice. Now, if I adjust the... Yeah, okay. Not quite so harsh. So I can actually shrink this down because I think it'll look better as a micro texture for just detailing around some of these edges. Bear in mind that perfection is not the goal here because people are going to be seeing this from way off, and having these little bitty extra bits here that have a different reflectivity and whatnot it just kind of adds something to the whole affair. It's feeling kind of gross. I don't like how this feels. It feels slimy. So much cleaner. So let's take a look at our normal map channel here and see what's going on. So first of all, baseline was already a bit on the high side. Then for this stone wall stuff with the boulders, and this is the big offender right here. Starting to look a little more fleshy, which is better. And you can tell the difference more from some of these little edge bits that are more metallic, which I like. Now, I'm going to go to, I think, the roughness. Actually, let's just go to base color. We're going to click to this steel medieval thing. Nope, not that. Yeah, this is our problem. What let's do is click to the actual thing. I think maybe we will say that it does not get to contribute to our metalness or roughness at all. Height? Are you a problem? The height map. Interesting. But the normal was fine. That's peculiar. All right. Let us come in here then, and we will change the height range a bit. And so I want some of that, not too much. Part of this is that we don't have a good metallic texture on this at all yet. So it's just kind of this weird plasticky feel in general. See, you get the plasticky feel regardless of whether or not that's there, but then having that there adds kind of a weird texture into it. Now we get this coming in, which I'm fond of. Possibly we should take out the color on this. Yep, that's better. Possibly we should take out the metallic and roughness too and just have, yep. now we've just got the bumps and so forth from this, which I think that's a neat little bit of addition. Okay. So let's take a look at this for a bit here and see if we can make the overall body just feel nicer. You know, I kind of like this. It's almost like a matte cap type look. This normal is just, they don't make me happy. I like the lines, but I don't like the normals and what they do to it. Okay, so let's do this then. Let's what would a pretty metal be? Or even something unexpected that I can make. Oh, I love this bronze copper. That is such a pretty thing. It's gonna look weird, I bet. Let's give it a try. Yeah, there's just, much as I love that, wonder if I adjust the scale, if it'll help at all. If I turn off the normal maps and height maps, then that might help some. But it's kind of liking that white, to be honest. It's kind of a surprising find. I like the idea that this thing is built out of plates with rivets. Well, it's not really sized well for that, based on how the normal maps are. There is something attractive about this, I do have to say. The aging spots on it I'm less fond of. Yeah, that whale texture just doesn't, that wrecks a lot of things. We'll chalk that up as a maybe. I said I wasn't going to try any sort of car paint stuff, but let's see. So what we'll do is this. It gets like hyper reflective really fast, and we can make it. Let's make it pure white. Why not? Certainly striking. It really contrasts well with those bits. All the original things, of course, that blue was doing were gray, though. So, so turning on flakes in there. Let's see what I can do. Some good scratches in there and stuff. Take the UV scale. Whoa, boy. Not paint peeling. Wrong button. Never messed with the flakes before. The metal a little rougher, and that will down the intensity of the reflections there. I think this is sticking to the spirit of things. It's certainly different, but can always be made a darker gray if need be. Although I'm betting he wanted the gray partly because it's whale inspired. So, what can I do about that? If I combine these two concepts, it's not much different. The car paint doesn't really add much underneath there. So let's try doing a smart mask here. And let's say dirt heavy maybe, or dirt dusty on the bronze copper tiles. Okay. Maybe dirt soft. That barely changes anything. It's a little on the soft side, but let's go in here and see what we can do here. Size, width, height, make that bigger. Oh. There we go. Ooh, okay, now I'm getting happy. I'm liking this. Liking this a lot. Okay. Getting this two-tone here. Yeah. Feels a little smudged in a good way. And we get a compromise between that original gray, which I can darken up, and let's go ahead and do that. And the kind of white that I had going on. So first off, guess if this is going to be aging, let's go ahead and have it be more reddish. And we can make the rivets more reddish. And the base color more flat gray. And then let's make tile more. So we should start seeing actual tiles come through. Oh, I want to bring the normal map and height in actually. In order to get those tiles, maybe not the height, that's maybe a little much. Yep. Okay, tiles, 3, 4. These are tile styles, I forgot. Okay, yeah. Tiles style 4, and then the UV scale will up, so there's more of the tiles. Maybe. I don't know about that. Down it, so there's a lot fewer tiles. Yeah, I like the extra lines and stuff that adds, but that actually gets kind of funky with that's one of the tile lines. So now it's kind of interesting. Let's age this up a little. Oops, darn it. I messed up. Okay. That feels like something, although, yeah, I don't think that's going to work out. Just take off the normal map. Okay. All right, base color, make you a little darker. This thing is really not contributing a whole lot of color. It's because of the mask here. So whoa, that suddenly feels more whale-like. Contrast is too sharp, but why does that feel like a whale to me? I guess it's the water type. I don't know. Almost like refraction on the surface through the water. Well, that's interesting. If I make this base color a lot lighter now, why are you not listening? Is the color not even coming out of this? What's going on? Color is coming. So what's the deal? It's the age. I bet. All right, I'm just going to adjust it from this then. Luminosity. That's the kind of brute force way to handle this. Okay. So we've got that kind of whale pattern going on, but it's subtle. And I like that. Oh, I like that. That is cool. So I wanted to come in and have it feel like a metal whale, you know. And originally I'd had in mind the scales sort of thing, but nah, that doesn't really work, at least not as an over the entire body bit. That smoothness, feels very aluminum in a cool way. I like the little extra details that I've added here with the extra rivets and stuff. Helps make it feel, goes with the plate-like aesthetic Blue was already doing. So I do like the concept that I had though with the fleshy bits. It just can't be everywhere. So let's try a few things with this. Fibers I've never even tried before, so that's terrible. Rust ground? I don't know. Well, that's interesting in a weird sort of way. Kind of like how the contrast is, and it's not. Let's mess with this. It's too much of it, for one thing. Okay. And I think one of the problems is that I'm working directly on this thing, which already has a smart mask on it. So I'm going to put it in a folder, and we'll call this whale skin. Save. And then I'm going to put my mask on the folder. And I think I will get a different result. Yep. What do you know? Much more like what I was expecting. Hey. Why is this not showing up at all otherwise? Oh. Toggle mask. Okay, yeah. All right. So when the mask is off, it is showing up like it was. Good stuff. Toggle mask. And so when the mask is, yeah. All right. This is kind of interesting. We have those little bits of whale skin but it's not super duper duper excessive. It's a little more than I would like. So let's go in and adjust that. Okay, that helps a little. That unhelps. Ambient occlusion, that's what's causing it to appear like down there and stuff. I really don't want that to be a factor. Good. I got rid of it down there. That's not where I was interested in having it appear. I was going to go in and manually remove that otherwise, but that saved me the trouble, which is nice. So we got some appearing on the sides there in a couple of places. Hmm. Okay. Okay. It's always a matter of kind of playing with some of those toggles. So I don't know. Looks so much less spaceshipy that on. I'm just gonna say goodbye, whale skin. That was probably my initial feeling on it, but it's, I mean, my initial concept was the whale skin, but it's like now half a gig almost. All right. Cool. Now the blue bits, like these blue bits, but we need to do something with these blue bits. They feel too painted. Blue bits. Now this is actually a case where, yeah, it's more than just the blue. That's what I thought. Okay, so let's do something that glows. I've got these electric things. This is probably not going to be good at all. I already had the blue bits in a folder. And going to take this here and say, not add black mask, add mask with color. So what am I doing? Add bitmap mask. Okay. Now that insanity is limited to the blue bits section. I don't care for that at all. What I really want is just something metallic as an underlay for this. And then we'll pop the emission mask on it, I think. So what about that silver that was too silver? Silver pure, how about that? Oh, right, this is supposed to be blackish. Well, do we want it to be blackish? Because with this, really, you make it contrast enough. Let's see. Yes, we want this to be blackish. That looks cool. We'll make this even less rough so it shines even more. maybe shift over into the blue spectrum just a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that. That's cool. All right. Now, emissive time. I don't think we have an emissive layer on this at all, no. But what I will do is take our existing emissive layer and just put that in there again. Body emissive. Just to make sure. Neat. That can be adjusted later if it has to be. But I'm feeling pretty good about that. All right. Get ourselves a nice metal body. Let's do a little comparison to what we had in Unity. Hey, Unity. Oh, come on. You didn't want to leave before, and now you don't want to come back. Not that one, not that one. Hello, Unity. And it's busy. It'll be with me later. Good to know. Well, that's what it looked like anyway. Ah, there we are. Yeah. Whoa, boy. So this is what we had, and this is what we're moving to. Now, granted, this has got some warm tones to it because of the IBL lighting that's going on there. And I cannot, and this will take on those warm tones when it's in that environment. The emissive stuff doesn't show properly in Substance Painter either. So if I need to warm that up some, can do that either in Unity or here in another pass later. We'll see what the backer thinks as it is. I kind of like this aluminum feel, but certainly not married to it. Tanks. Okay, this is gonna be a hard one. So can't use real glass because I need it to be opaque. Well, let's give it a shot. Oh, there's actually a cool smart material that might work for this, come to think of it. Glass visor. Let's see what happens. Ha! Ah, nice. Let's take the base of that. Oh, it's the deal with the glowing edges. All right, so all we're really contributing here is the roughness and metalness. That's interesting. So I could just as easily come in here and say turn on roughness and metalness and start playing around. Roughness should be low. I can get a more interesting result by doing this. All right, so this is already feeling a little bit better. I think we're gonna have to do this more by hand. All right, so let's pull up Photoshop. Don't need that anymore. The tank's emission, I don't know. Let's take a look at this. What is not included in this? This might be useful. Okay, so these things here, these kind of feathery things are plants that are growing in there. Backer was talking about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to desaturate this, and this is going to be my mask. And let's adjust the curves a bit so we get full on here, maybe a quicker ramp up. Looks good. Okay. That should play well. All right. So, tanks, mask. This is going to look really cool. Okay. Project. Tanks, mask, boom. Undefined becomes texture, goes to project, shelved, import, blah, blah, blah. All right, so here's my mask. Let's see, how am I gonna handle this? Let's make a copy of the fill layer. So we'll call this one plants. We'll call this one, actually, we'll call this space, yeah. All right, plants. We're just going to inverse mask these, so we'll leave everything on both. That's fine. Add bitmap mask. Mask. And bitmap mask. Mask. And then, let's see. This is the plants one, so we will invert it. So this should be now the plants. Yep. Okay. Cool. So the plants, my opinion, should be a lot less metallic looking. In general, it should be a lot rougher. And we may do some other things with these later. Then our base, the actual thing, not the mask, should be. I have this backwards. In fact, I do. Maybe. Be very metal, not rough at all. The TLDR on that. Yeah. I need to work on my mask. Bummer. That would have been easy. All right, so what we're going to do. I'm not going to go based off the emission because that's hard. It's going to be easier to see based off the texture. So let's see if we can just kind of grab, need a better tolerance than that. Just gonna grab these dark parts here. Maybe these dark parts too. Mm. Okay, good enough. Cool. So we're gonna take this to black, take this to white. Should I do a Gaussian blur on this? Boy, I'm undecided. Not right now. We'll think about it. Mask 2. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and save one without a Gaussian blur and then save another one with Gaussian blur, and we'll see which one works best. Save myself some time since I know I'm going to want to test it. So okay, I'm good. And I have an apostrophe there for some reason, but whatever. These are blurred plants through the wall, and so having them not exactly masked off makes sense. Gonna adjust their roughness on top of and a third layer on top of these first two, and I'm gonna make it all look more glass-like first. So first of all, though, I'm gonna go ahead and copy this again. So I've got plants, which I'm gonna turn off. And then here, turn down this roughness a lot. Yeah, that looks way more glassish. Okay. It's very metallic sort of glass, but I don't have beef with that. Okay, now putting this layer back on top. New mask time. So we'll say clear mask, and then add bitmap mask, and I will do the. Let's go ahead and start with the blurred one. I have a feeling that's going to work better. All right, and so we've got this thing. We are going to make it very rough, not very metal at all. Hmm. I think that what is happening is we're getting an additive effect here from the stuff below. So there are a couple of ways to solve that. I'm going to take the lazy way. Metallic, we'll call this. And then we will add a mask on the metallic folder. We'll take the blurred one. We'll invert that mask. All righty, there we go. So now those aren't contributing anymore to our thing here. This is all blended in purely by, yeah. All right. Something doesn't feel right. I don't know. kind of got the effect I'm going for, but not really. Thinking. All right. Let's play with this some more. Mask, that. And let's see what we can do here. I want something really rough, not gravelly though. Let's try some sort of wood. Bark, that's fine with me. That didn't go in the folder. And of course that went over top of it because of the way I put it in. Yeah, all right. So I don't care about the color contribution. I don't want that. Normal and height, I could kind of go either way on. What? This is not a... Actually, I think I do want the color on this. And what we will do, wrong thing, what we'll do is down the luminosity to make this even darker. So I want that really undersea type feeling. These are even kind of bumbling out now, which is kind of interesting. We'll see about that. First of all, UV scale. Yeah, that's what I thought. Rotate the UVs. Oop, not that much. Rotate them about like that. UV scale even smaller. Starts repeating a little much there. I think this will look better if we take off the metallic and color. Okay, height range, height position. Okay, so the height position is now sinking in instead of going out. And the height range is a lot lower. Bumping out a little bit. Problem is, I don't want it to feel too much like those are sticking out. But I want to disrupt the way the light hits them in a way that is, I'm having to fake it, basically, because we're not really doing anything truly translucent. Looks better without that on there. Let's try a different kind of wood, like wood flooring. We'll darken that down, of course. Hmm. Where's my sliders? Oh, this is an old style. Pre-PBR material, which is fine. And that gives a little bit of disruption on our smooth glass, but not so much that it feels like insane. It's a subtle effect. That is not a subtle effect. The other one that I was working with. So what if we put in the normals? No. Let's try adjusting the height position just a little. That's not a little. Now we've got tumorous lumps all over this thing. So yeah, I mean that is an improvement. It makes it feel more like there's something under there. It's darker and more mysterious. And this isn't getting the contribution from the rest of the tank. Okay. I kind of like this. Something's not right. Let's have another layer on top of this. Wow, that looks kind of cool. And let's make this more in the proper color range. Okay. And then, it's interesting. There's still quite a bit showing through this. But it looks a lot more glass-like already. Well, that's kind of interesting. Well, I didn't mean for that to be wasn't really trying to do that. Yeah, okay, so I mean, this is really taking over. Woo. Okay, so what I wanted to do, what I was planning on doing, is using another, you guessed it, smart mask, and seeing what we can mix in. That's terrible. Cavity rust, probably also terrible. Huh. Brings out some interesting details, but no. Oop. Another layer of detailing to this to make it kind of feel more dirtied up. I like that. That's peculiar. What we're gonna do. Edge rest. Okay. So I'm gonna. Oh, okay. I see. It was actually still there, just unbeknownst to me. Okay, and then clear mask, remove mask. Okay, so we got this thing And I don't want this to be so in your face, and I want it to be lighter. So first of all, oh, that's a pretty blue. Okay, that'll blend well. And then our opacity will take down some. Okay, so this is what we've added. We're breaking up those specular highlights some. Specular highlights being where it shines so much. It's a little more rough now, and that also helps it look a little more used. This thing's been flying through space for a long time. It's glass, shouldn't be, I mean, what are the windshield wipers like, you know? All right, so we have that going on, which is just kind of a happy accident. I'm of the Bob Ross school of substance painting. What else we got here? Well, gee, that was interesting too. We're getting a little on the dirty side now, but darn if that isn't interesting though. That was just plain out rust, right? I think that's what that was. Yep, still got it selected even. I'm gonna keep that. Did not expect that, but I do feel like that helps add to the feeling of realism, which that's one of the things that was bugging me. It's too perfect. It was too perfect. Something didn't feel right. Now we're getting there. It feels lived in and on and traveled and stuff. It feels like it belongs in this new universe we're concocting. Now, okay, there we go. Maybe. No. Darn. What if we just make this more opaque? Then we get that nice, even glass color, the kind of mature darkness to it. Then we have underneath it, it's kind of like a outer glass layer, some dirt and gunk, then a second layer of glass underneath that, and then you've got the dark plants and whatnot underneath that. That appeals to me. Hopefully the backer likes it. All right. Just kind of inverted the colors of what's dark and what's light here. The really light body is starting to grate on me. I don't know, I'm feeling guilty or something about making it so different from what blue in the backer worked out, I think. So let's take this and let's take our paint color and down that some. Oh my, that looks disturbing. Try not to mess with the overall color feel too much with this, but original was kind of hard to describe in some ways, I guess. What is this going to do? Good. Okay. It listens, in other words. So I hate this car paint. That's awful. A little more middle of the road. This is what we had. And that's got a lot of reds in it. This has a lot of reds in it too, overall. It's a similar feel. A little too red. Did I actually have a? That's why. Just make it a little more desaturated in the natural redness of the map that I've got going on. Will of the IBL in Unity will make it come out better. So I'm liking that. My. Yeah, glass is hard in this sort of metal. It's pretty hard. This is unusually time-consuming one, but that's okay. I've been enjoying myself. So, all right, now export textures. We're up to 0.5 gig already. Output. Select folder. Yeah, we'll do two 2048 by 2048s. It's an Ark. Can have big textures. Okay. The warnings don't matter. Everything's cool. All right, so one last look at that, and then say goodbye. Delete those two. This is going to turn pink. Or bright white. Okay, that works. Okay, so zero body, albedo transparency. Tanks, albedo transparency. Oh, it's because the emission got left on. Just turn that off temporarily. And then immediately turn it back on for the emission here. Okay. That is the metallic smoothness. Metallic alpha, correct. And then we've got the normal map. You'll notice this is the normal map when it's not properly a normal map. You notice how it takes all of those parts before it makes sense at all as to looking like it used to. It's kind of cool. I'm going to do the emission last on this one, I think. All right, so we get the metallic smoothness, and then normal maps. Then the emission, it's going to mess with everything. We'll see how this does. All right. Okay. So a little too bright. I like how it's self-illuminating with that. I don't want to completely get rid of the feeling of the glow that this, or the feeling of the glass rather. Um, the body has those really cool emissive bits there. I wonder if we crank that up a little, what that'll look like. I mean, that can get pretty nuts. So, since that's all shades of blue, one of the things I can do is go into an emissive, the color, make it a little more HDR, and then pull it out like that and get some interesting effects. Get a little bit more of a colored glow off of those versus it trending towards white so much when it's at the really peak parts. It's still too bright though. Yeah, there's something to be said for that blackness of it. Let's go way back down. And let's stick with original color scheme. Okay, so this is not even HDR here. All right, I'm going to make a further edit on this. This is the body emission. So, gonna want very little tolerance on this. And what I'm doing is adjusting the contrast dramatically on this. The lighter this is, think of this like a light bulb. These are, the lighter it is, the more light it shines out. And I am dramatically downing the amount of light that comes out of most parts of this bulb. Now, nice. Okay, I like that. That a lot. Now I can go back to the colored HDR stuff because now it's not affecting everything. That makes for a better glow. See how that's happening there? So now we have better contrast. This is a lot more like blue we clearly envisioned in Maya, but now it's actually doing that same thing in Unity. When you start getting into the actual playing around with it, it can be kind of different. And I don't like that. That is an eyesore. Where is that? That is right here. Let's just try blacking that out and see how it looks. Some of this looked really cool when it was black. That is neat. It's a little overly dark though. So we'll just take this and we'll just down it a lot. Not enough. Can't even see this in Photoshop anymore. Seriously? Apparently, there's some magic threshold where if there's anything there, it's gonna light up. Good Lord. All right, well, actually, I've gotten distracted. That actually looks good because that's in keeping with these other lines. So I got distracted trying to see how dark I could make it, and I made it the right darkness and forgot it. Okay. So we're doing well. And this thing, these things look like they belong in the same world. It looks like they, have come from different places in the same universe. This one that's actually pretty creepy. With the dark shapes in there and stuff. That's what they were working on, Blue and him. And then all the lines on it and stuff. And this one's much more beat to heck. If desired, can take the body and just down it some here very easily. Shift it to red some if we feel like it. Actually, that looks kind of cool. So I don't have to go back to Substance Painter for that. Yeah. So we've got 2.7 megs for most of those, 5.3 for that one, 5.3, 2.7, 5.3. That's it. So whatever that all adds up to, it's under 20 megs. And this is an Ark, so it gets special treatment, and that's plenty of space. So I think we're done. As long as the backer's happy, then I think we're done. I don't see any really noticeable flaws here, to my eye, anyway. All right, thanks for watching.